Hello again, everyone. We're back at the workbench today to take a look at the Lionel 40-foot ice reefer. With the most recent releases of the cab forward and the Vision Line Big Boy, I'm sure a lot of people are buying these things up as quick as they can, like I am. Of course, I convert all my cars to Kadee couplers, so we're going to take a look at that today. I'll show you how easy it is to convert these cars to Kadee couplers, even though Lionel on these cars hasn't made a mounting pad for them yet. So the floor on these cars are all the same. So once you get the coupler pad made, the mounting block for it, they all go together. So what I do is I just build a bunch of them and then do a whole bunch of cars at the same time. That way it speeds the process up a little bit. The hardest part, I think, of the whole thing is the truck, making room for the Kadee coupler. But I'll show you that and how I do it. 2 simple cuts with a Dremel tool. That's all there is to it. Now once these cars have been converted, the truck looks quite a bit different. You see, you got all this hidden uncoupling tab apparatus here. All that's gone over here. I cut that off. Then that leaves room to mount the pad and the draft gear box for the coupler. Now, as I said, there's a couple different ways you can take this truck apart. You can pull this E-clip off right here that holds the 3-rail coupler on there. Pull that off the top. Take your needle nose and grab the uncoupling tab from there and just give it a couple good twists and it'll pull right out from the bottom. That's what you got here. It's all bent up. That leaves you with that, and you just wiggle that around until it pops out. You can do that. You put this truck back on there, flip it around. You see you got the tabs that might interfere with the Kadee coupler box on either side. You can turn it either direction, it doesn't really matter. I don't hassle with that anymore because then you still have all this stuff left on the bottom of the truck. I don't want that there, so I'll show you how to make 2 cuts and get rid of it all at once. You can use your rotary tool, my Dremel, fiberglass cutoff wheel. Now, 2 days ago, I went to the eye doctor to get out a little black chunk of metal that was stuck in my eyeball. And I'll give you one good guess where that little black chunk came from. So make sure you wear your safety glasses. I'm wearing mine now, and all these years I've never worn my safety glasses to do this. But I was at the eye doctor and he was coming at me with his little needle nose pliers to get that little piece of black metal out of my eye. So let's cut this off real quick. I'll show you how easy it is. One cut, 2 cuts. You see it just drop loose? Now it'll fall right out. Falls right out the bottom. That eliminated all of that stuff with 2 cuts. Throw that one away. Now I'm going to go back and redo this one because I want that all gone as well. That's what's left of the other truck that I'd already taken the coupler off of. Throw that in the trash. Now we got our 2 trucks. They're ready to go. Except I take it a step further because now that I've cut this, you have this raw metal here. You got some sharp edges, both sides. I'm going to take the 2 screws out of this bolster, pull this piece off, hit it with my bench grinder with the wire wheel just to make sure all those sharp edges are gone. See, that comes off. Don't lose your 2 screws. I'm going to take that piece, go hit that with the bench grinder real quick. Now, like I said, I do a bunch of these cars at the same time, so I'll have a whole pile of trucks set in here. I'll cut them all with the Dremel. I'll take these all off, then take a whole pile of them over the bench grinder, knock that down, come back and put them back together. Okay, so I've taken these over to the bench grinder, hit them with the wire wheel, knock that down, nice and smooth, clean edges, no sharp filings there to cut your fingers on. We'll put those back on. I'll screw those back down. Now, all the cars are the same, so if you make all your coupler pads the same, the heights will be just right. But if you notice, this is where the spring truck comes into effect. The trucks are sprung, and when you push on the center tab, the springs go up and down. Now, if for some reason you have one end of one of your cars that is off just a little bit in height, it's usually because the center bolster right here is either bowed up or bowed down, and you can see this one is pretty straight and this one's pretty straight. But sometimes if you push too hard on those while you're holding them, you'll bend the center of it down and it'll cup. Or sometimes I've got them out of the box from Lionel and they're actually cupped the other way and the car sets too high. So you want to make sure those are flat. I'll screw those back together and they're ready to go back on the car. Now here you can see the stock car with the 3-rail coupler. One of the cars I've already converted to the Kadee. And this is the car we're working on right now, the trucks that I just cut the coupler off of. Now this floor is recessed from the end of the car. It sits down a little bit. And also if you look close, see if I can get you in there, you can see there's a rib going down the center of the floor. Now there's 2 ways to tackle this rib. I've done it both ways. You can take your flat X-Acto knife and you can just slice that little rib off right there. That way your coupler pad will set right down to the floor. Or you can build your coupler pad to fit around that little rib right there, so you have a pad on each side, and then I build over the top of it. And that's what I've done for this last group of cars I did. I'll show you that here in a second. Now, like I've said in the past, there's probably 100 different ways you can do this. I'm showing you the way that I do it. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just the way that I do it now. Here is the coupler pad. I made it out of styrene. You can see it's got a notch in the center right there. So that just slips right over that center rib in the floor and it stays centered right there. I've already drilled the holes in it for the coupler. I drill 3 30-second holes in there, so my 256 screws will slide right through, because I don't want any tension in the pad. I want all the grip to the floor, so it will suck the coupler and the pad down tight to the floor. So these holes are drilled oversized for a reason. It'll sit there, and then the coupler sits right on top, and you just screw that in. And I also have drilled the holes out, as I explained in a previous video, 3 30-seconds, because I use 2-56 screws. The screws will slide right through the hole, gives you a little wiggle room in case you didn't drill exactly straight up and down. Same reason here. Now I have a plastic floor in this car body, so I have made a drill jig for it with the center rib in it. Because I do so many of these cars, I just place that, hold that in place, drill my 2 holes for the 256 screw. Got my drill guide, my drill jig down on here, and this is where you want to drill straight up and down a hole as you possibly can. Make sure that's back centered. Drill the second hole. Now if you look down on there, there's also ribs in the floor the other direction. Those mounting holes should be right in the center of the second rib to the floor. You'll see there's the second rib. Those holes are right in the center. That's just the way it works out, so I know they're drilled in the right spot. Now the whole assembly is ready to go. I got the coupler together. Now this is an 805 coupler. I don't use these anymore, but I didn't realize I was out of 740s. So I just used this 805 coupler for the demonstration. But the pad's ready. You'll need at least a 1/2 inch screw to go through the coupler, the pad, and have some bite in the floor of the car. That's a 1/2 inch. You can go longer. There's nothing inside the car to get in the way. If you want to go 5/8, that's fine. It doesn't really matter, but you're going to need at least a 1/2 inch to get down and get some bite into that floor. And then all you do, your holes are drilled, everything's together. Just screw it into the bottom of your car. Down nice and tight. You can put this on your piece of test track, get out your Kadee coupler gauge, double check that your pin is the correct height, your knuckle's the correct height. I've done so many of these cars and got the pad just right. I know that once I build these pads, they're good to go. So I'll get them all assembled. And then as you can see, this one here, it's been touched up so you don't see the white. Now when I do these, once I get all my pads made, they're drilled, ready to go, I'll put some black paint on them before I get them put back together, because it's just easier to hold this in your hand and paint that front edge of these sides black instead of trying to do it there and not get black paint all over the car. So I'll get them painted up black, put them on, put the couplers on, put my trucks back on. I'll even touch up here if it's too shiny. Just throw some black paint on there and then it'll look like this. You got black pad, black screws, no shiny truck bolster there. Everything's good, ready to go. Now one other thing I do when I have these cars apart for the Kadee conversion is add some weight inside. These cars, per the NMRA standard, should weigh about 15.5 ounces. That's 5 ounces to start, plus an extra ounce for every inch of car length. These cars are 10.5 inches, so we're looking at 15.5. I add 3 ounces of weight. It's a little more than what it should be. I use the stick-on tire weights. I put 3 on each end of the car on the floor inside once it's apart. I have a lot of Atlas reefers as well, and they're well over the standard, so I'd rather my cars weigh a little more than less. It's just easier to put the 3 in there instead of just, you know, one in the middle somewhere. That way if I want to open the doors and show some kind of detail in there, you don't see this weight. So I just keep the 3 on the ends, add the 3 ounces of weight. We're looking at just over 16 ounces. That's good enough for my book. Keeps them on the rail in a long train. Well, since I got this car apart this far already, I'll just show you how to get it apart to add the weight to it. There's 2 screws, 1 on each end. Take the screws out, and the floor pops right out. Don't worry about orientation putting it back in, because there's a notch. There's a notch here at the end of the floor. There's a notch in the insole of the car. The floor will only go in one way. So we take that out. There's your floor. And then we'll stick the weights on. Okay, so the lead weights are installed. They're self-stick. Just peel the paper off, stick them on there. Drop the floor back into the car. Put it back together. Now this is where you really notice the difference. 2 cars coupled together with scale Kadee couplers, and 2 cars coupled together with the 3-rail couplers. The Kadees, you have a scale 3 feet between the cars, and the 3-rail coupled cars are a scale 5 feet. That's a total of a ½ inch difference between the 2 cars when they're coupled together. If you have a bunch of these cars to do, it doesn't matter the road name. Make yourself a drill jig, get your Dremel out with the fiberglass cutoff wheels, cut those couplers off, drill your holes, get those styrene pads made. You can whip these cars out in no time at all. That's going to wrap up the Lionel 40-foot ice reefer Kadee conversion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.